Pete and Joseph visit the Gladiator Cinematic Universe. Amityville in space lands in the Abeyta Studios, and Tyler has a ghost.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call!
Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
Late for shows.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimble to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates. Welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Tyler.
I'm Joseph.
And I'm Peter.
We have a great show for you today, as always. Welcome everyone on YouTube Live and otherwise. And of course, the OG classmates listening in podcast land. How is everyone doing today?
I'm feeling a little bloated.
Bloated.
Just kidding.
Still from Thanksgiving?
No, I'm good. I didn't eat a ton on Thanksgiving. Actually, that's a lie. I did. I absolutely did.
A half ton.
I was laying there. I was sitting there at the table going, oh, God damn it.
Like,
I
can
ate
you
too
please
much.
get off the table?
I was literally lamenting my life, like cursing my life for how much I ate. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at Brianna. I'm like, why did I do this to myself? And my mom goes, there's pie. I'm like, all right, I'll have a pie.
And then you were like Brendan Fraser in The Whale, where he gets up right before he passes.
Yeah, I crushed my daughter at the doorstep. I fell through the top layer, or the ground of the first floor.
Why was he living in a second story anyway? That seems
That's poor planning.
It seems very short-sighted.
More than anything.
I wasn't planning on being fat.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on being a whale.
How are you, Tyler? That's a real question.
I'm all right.
Yeah, good.
I mean, it's...
Here it comes.
Never mind.
Oh, here we go. We asked him how he was. Now he's going to tell us.
I know. What's next? A response?
No, it's been going good. I actually started running my heater for the first time in a long time.
Did you sneeze a bunch after it came on the first night? I feel like that happens every time I turn my heater on for the first time.
Is it dusty?
Yeah, like all the dust gets douched out of there or something.
No, but what happened was I went to bed
Dry douche.
I went to bed earlier because the cold kept me up for some reason. But then once that heater turned on, and like I have this like blanket robe thing that I put on because my house gets like an ice box. Yeah, or something. I don't know what it is. And like I would be sitting at my computer desk, just watching movies,
a Snuggie
on TikTok. And
I forgot about Snuggie.
Yeah, it's essentially like that, but it looks really cool. Anyways, turned on my heater, so I've been going to bed super early recently because I'm just like all cozied up on my mattress.
I imagine you like dressed as like Ebenezer Scrooge in his house with a candle walking around.
Shambling around your house by yourself.
I know. Sometimes I think I'm a ghost haunting that house because I live alone, so it's like it's weird.
You are the others.
Yeah.
You.
Spoilers.
Well, glad everyone's doing great.
Yep.
We're in the shittiest part of December because this is the 2 weeks where everyone has to work. There's no vacation or anything. Kids are still in school and it's cold.
We're all just waiting to not.
And we're just waiting for the good times
to not be
come.
at work or at school.
Yeah. With that all being said, let's get into some Gabbin' Chatter.
Find some charity, you lad. Now's the time for Gabbin' Chatter.
Gabbin' Chatter, where we talk about movie news, movie discussions, really anything at this point.
Weather talk.
Weather, yeah, we haven't talked about the weather in a while, but we can save that for another episode.
California cold.
Yeah, it's been fine. Joseph, do you have anything for us this week?
No, like news articles or anything like that.
Yeah, it's been light on the news scape recently.
Yeah, nothing.
We're just waiting for all the Oscar bait to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like award season is approaching. But yeah, until then. News in I guess a new movie for me world, I guess, is I went and saw Gladiator 2 in theaters.
It's so weird that exists on our timeline.
It is strange. It became a thing.
Yeah.
Gladiator 2, Lucius's Revenge.
Basically.
Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah, so I went and saw Gladiator 2 on a Tuesday, a discount Tuesday, and was probably the most disappointed in a movie that I've ever been.
Really?
Not that I had not high expectations going into it, just because of the nature of a sequel to Gladiator.
Yeah.
But I was hoping that it would be at least entertaining, and it asked me if I was entertained, and I was not.
Actually, it asked, "Are you not entertained?" And you said, "Yes."
I said,
I'm
"Yes,
not.
I'm not entertained."
Yeah, is that not positive, negative?
No, I am not entertained.
That tracks.
Yeah. By the end of that movie, I was furious.
It put you in a rage.
I was angry
Oh my gosh.
because of how terrible it was.
Well, at least it was on discount Tuesday.
Yeah, I would not pay full price, let alone discount Tuesday to watch that movie.
Jeez.
Because it was
Bad, huh?
it was really, really not good at all.
But Pedro Pascal was in it.
Barely.
Yeah, so it's Paul Mescal.
I mean, technically, I should say.
And like Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, and Denzel Washington, all
Heavy hitters.
all good actors, and even maybe Joseph Quinn, even though I've only ever seen him in Stranger Things
Joseph Quinn?
as Eddie Munster.
Oh, yes.
And I liked him in that, but that's the only other thing I've seen him in.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a really strange role as like a kind of a crazy emperor,
Twin emperor,
along with his brother, who was also insane. They gave wild, weird performances. They were just kind of like loose cannons. But like the movie was just a really dumbed down version of the first Gladiator, and it's because it's almost exactly the same plot. You have this guy who's been disenfranchised. He's coming back for revenge, and against a person, I guess Pedro Pascal in this context, because in the very beginning of the movie, not a spoiler, he kills Paul Mescal's wife or lover that you barely know. You're like, it happens in the first like 5 minutes of the movie, and I'm supposed to just latch onto this character after knowing nothing about their relationship, or knowing, not even like barely even knowing the name of this person who gets killed.
Yeah.
And
I don't even know if you do know her name.
I don't know either. You just see her face. She barely had. I don't think she. I don't remember if she had any lines.
She had a face tattoo though.
Yeah, she did. And then like it just like took everything from Gladiator 1 that made it good and removed it for Gladiator 2, because there was no like rapport with the other gladiators. There was no relationship building. There was a very weak, like the weak storyline that had already been done better in the year 2000. And it felt like Ridley Scott forgot that he made Gladiator 1. and then
in his old age he forgot.
And then
he got loopy.
And then he watched it and he's like, I want to make a sequel to that movie.
Whoever made that movie was really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a worse version.
Wasn't the original Gladiator 2 plot like some sort of like time travel, like
it was insane.
He
weird thing?
He was supposed to go to heaven, like Maximus was gonna be in heaven and like fight Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And the gods or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That would have been probably a lot more entertaining than what you got.
It was just a script. It wasn't
It was
like
the first script.
they never planned on making that.
But yeah, it was just like, and they have this giant, I don't know if you call it a retcon, but they basically they solidify something that is very, very lightly implied in the first movie that is mentioned maybe once.
I think you can say it
at all, and that is that Lucius is Maximus's son. And because in the Gladiator 2, they're like, he's your father. And it's not like he's my father type of moment. It was more like it was like everybody knew that the whole time.
It was just common knowledge.
But in the first movie, it's like very, very lightly mentioned that maybe Maximus had a relationship with Lucius's mom.
Yeah.
But it's like there's not enough context there or weight to it in the first movie to make it seem like I've been waiting for this moment. Like that was a big question I had from the first movie, you know?
Okay.
It was more implied in the first movie that Lucius was
banging his sister.
Yeah.
No, that Lucius's mom. Was banging Commodus, her brother.
Yeah.
Or that he like raped her or something.
So
overall is a very bad movie.
Joseph texted me and basically he voiced his contempt for the movie.
He was so mad he had to text you after.
Yeah, and I looked at his Letterboxd review. 1 star. My expectations were low, and it still disappointed me. And I said, I gotta watch this movie. So I went and watched Gladiator 2. Got myself a poppycorn. I got myself a
sody pop.
a nicey. Yeah,
Nicey.
and I went in, and immediately it was apparent that something was wrong with this movie. Immediately.
I like how it's immediately.
I didn't even, I guess, scratch the surface.
Yes. So the opening credits. Let's start with the opening credits.
Best part of the movie.
Yes.
Best part of the movie.
It's a great painting sort of thing. It's like physical paintings of old scenes from Gladiator 1.
Oh.
The first one. And it's like a kind of a montage, and it kind of gives you a little bit of story. And it's like iconic scenes that you all know and love. The greatest hits.
Yeah.
But done, you know how the opening to the Scott Free Productions is the crow, the bird?
Yeah.
And it's painted, and it's kind of motion, it's got a very active sort of painting look. Mm-hmm. It was like that, but with color and all kinds of, it was really cool. And then it cuts, and it looks like a fucking Marvel MCU intro, and it says Gladiator, and then the 2 comes out. 2.
Yeah.
That's
It looked like
that's really
it looked like Iron
perplexing.
Man 2.
He really dumped it down for the audience. They'd think Gladiator 11. What?
Gladiator 11.
Am I going to be able to understand if I haven't watched 1 through 10?
That's wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, immediate.
So that was bad. Yeah, that was bad.
lead.
And then, like Joseph said, all the plot points and the beats of the original are almost mirrored to a T here, except for Maximus's family being killed. That happens a little bit later in the movie. And this one, it fast forwards to that. It happens right in the very first scene.
And it's just one person.
But it's opening battle, just like the first one. And then you see the fighting acumen of the main character, Lucius, who goes by a different name at that time.
Yeah, like Hano or something.
Hano, yeah. Hannes. And then his wife dies, and then he gets taken as a slave, just like Maximus does. And he's brought into
Naturally.
fight. First, he goes not to the main Colosseum, but he goes to a smaller slave trader.
Like a qualifying.
Instead of Proximus,
It's
played
Denzel.
by Oliver Reed, it's Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
So
Who didn't die during production.
yes, noted not dead person, Denzel Washington, and they put him through the paces. No one likes him. He's an outcast, and then all of a sudden, people start liking him because they realize he's some sort of a leader, fighter.
He's good at fighting baboons.
Yeah, and it's almost like the first Gladiator seems like it's about as standard, and this sounds like an insult, but it's not, standard sword and sandals type movie.
Okay.
It's the sword and sandal genre.
Yeah.
It's like Troy, Kingdom of Heaven, Gladiator, Spartacus, Blood and Sand, or whatever.
Ben-Hur.
Yeah, any of those like movies kind of taken around that place, kind of Middle East, or Roman or Greek or whatever, kind of in the olden times, and armor and swords, no gun, maybe arrows, but that's about it.
Back in my day, we used to use swords and sandals to settle our disputes.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. And but it's like the best version of that.
Yeah.
And it's simple. It's one guy that you really learn to care for and you really love, and everything's taken away from him, and then you watch him as he gets his revenge.
Yeah.
It's almost like they were trying to take something simple like that and put all these flourishes that were unnecessary. Like the first fight in the small Colosseum of the slaves were baboons. It was the slaves, the gladiators against baboons.
Yeah.
And they were
terrifying.
They were disgusting, hideous, Resident Evil looking CGI baboons.
They look like mutants.
I think they were supposed to be just malnourished and shitty because that makes sense. But it was bizarre, and it was so out of left field that you're like, this is the first one. You would think it would be a standard sword fight and then progress into crazier things. Just like the original.
But they just go right out of the gate.
Yeah, and I don't
baboons.
And I know I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I'm saying it was bad because it mimicked the first one exactly, but I wanted to be more like the first one.
Right.
I know I'm sounding like an asshole right now.
I don't think so, but was it?
But
when it's a sequel, but made by the same director, it has its own. He has his own bar that he set.
Yeah. It's almost like taking you ever like you see these pictures online of people going over to someone's house for Thanksgiving and they have the standard macaroni and cheese, but they put like raisins in it or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck
What are you doing?
Don't ruin something that's already perfect. Don't put baboons in the gladiator fight that are shitty CGI.
yeah.
And there's this whole segment about fighting like a water fight in the Coliseum. They flood the Coliseum once they get to the main Coliseum.
Oh, I saw
And
that.
which I was like, fucking cool. I'm on board with that. But they put these shitty, they weren't the worst CGI sharks, but they weren't great.
Well, they put sharks in it.
There were sharks in the water, and you're like, where did they get the sharks?
Yeah.
Did they go catch a shark in the ocean?
I mean, like,
Where do they keep it in the meantime?
exactly.
I know.
Sharks, and they're great whites. They're not just any shark. They're not like native to that part of the world sharks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know the water in the Coliseum, historically accurate, but the sharks, I don't know.
Yeah. Which, again, I don't need it to be historically accurate, but at least it's the Jurassic Park thing. It's like, just make it make enough sense for me to forget about it for the movie.
I know they used to build Coliseums in the ocean for like
that's
stuff like
cool.
that. But and then they had like the fillable Coliseums, like the one in the movie. But yeah, I was like thinking about like how they transport the sharks. I know they're near the ocean, but how do they catch the sharks and then transport them without them dying on the way?
That would have been great to.
I mean, that could be a whole like mini series of them catching sharks for battle.
It would have been great to have the Coliseum in the ocean, and it's like an away game, you know?
Yeah, it's like if for some reason it reminded me of like Quidditch. I don't know why. Like if they did that,
Yeah. So,
would you characterize this movie as so bad it's good, or is it just like not even?
No,
worse?
because it's more or less competently made, and I'm being unfair with it. Like if I saw this was an indie movie, I would say this is a really great looking production that has a shitty story. Not a shitty story. It's just a really, really predictable. You don't have a whole lot of buy into it.
this is like just like Gladiator.
Yeah, I'd say, well, they're trying to copy Gladiator here. Ridley Scott's about to sue. But the characters are just people you don't care about. The only person I'll say this. There were some things I liked about it. The costume design and set design was great. You know, big interiors of these like great halls and these cool like dual thrones because the emperors in this time are like twins. These insane twin brothers.
Okay.
And I liked all that. That was really cool. And Denzel Washington, everything that he was doing, I really liked. I loved his character. I loved the way he approached it. He's a little bit more calm and like, I don't know, he had a different take on that, like sort of like Roman villain. And I liked that. That's it. That's the good things.
All right.
Yeah.
And then it's just mostly.
It felt like a soap opera. Like it's when there wasn't an action sequence and it's just people talking. It felt like a multicam soap opera because the dialogue was not great, the writing was not great, and it just felt like over dramatic, more dramatic than it. I don't know. Than it was like. I don't know.
I think it was
trying to be.
It felt dramatic in the wrong places too, because there were some really impactful things, like big moments when main characters are killed.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, great. I can see it coming. And then the way they shoot it is like, oh, that's it. That's super lackluster.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, the insane amount of CG. I mean,
too much, dude.
Like in 2000, it was like almost all practical.
Yeah.
Angry Otter says that the sharks were deposited by the Sharknado into the Coliseum. Good fan. I like that canon.
And like, did he set out to make a better movie than Gladiator 1?
He failed on all accounts.
I mean,
was he just trying to make? I want to make a second one just because I want to.
Maybe he thought it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was fun. It wasn't fun to watch.
I mean, the man is almost pushing 90, so
I wouldn't put it at 1 star, but I'd probably put it like 2.5, maybe 2.
It's just,
but yeah, 2.5
because you have this. If this was the first Gladiator movie, if you didn't have Gladiator 1 and this was the first one,
it'd still be pretty lame.
It would be not as bad.
I still think it would be pretty rough.
I wouldn't give it a 1. I would give it a 2.5. But because we have
the first one,
and it's only fair to compare the two because it's the same fucking director.
Sure. But that was
I like that.
It tarnishes.
He was a young man back then. That was pre 9/11.
It tarnishes that
we all changed that day.
Legacy.
We changed that day, Joseph.
Yeah.
What day?
9/11.
Oh, well, whatever.
Ridley Scott's different, and he's British, so
it didn't impact him at all.
I like the idea. I do like the idea that was proposed by you guys that he forgot that He made the
first one.
Gladiator one.
I
and
mean,
he watched it on his
I
own
feel
accord.
like-
And he's like, wow, this is a good movie. I think I'm going to make a sequel to this.
At this point, I feel like Ridley Scott is a hack and should retire.
Wow.
No.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, he should retire because he's old as fuck and he deserves to rest.
I don't think he's a hack.
No.
That's a harsh criticism.
Movies have
Joseph.
not been as good lately.
Well, he's pushing 90.
How did you feel about The Last Duel?
It's not as good as Gladiator.
I think it's almost on par. I think it's really fantastic.
I think I like The Last Duel. I
Much
thought that
it's
was
good, but
smaller scale. They're totally different movie.
Yeah.
it's a medieval drama with Matt Damon,
told like Rashomon style.
but it's good, but it's not as impactful as Gladiator.
I agree with that sentiment. Yeah.
But everything after The Last Duel, Last Duel was 2020,
2020.
2020?
I think. Yeah.
everything after that.
Yeah.
Not that it was like that long ago, but like
Well, he did Alien Covenant.
No, he didn't direct that. It was Fetty Alvarez.
Oh, that's
doesn't
right.
it?
That's right.
no
That's right.
Covenant. He directed Covenant.
I'm sorry. I thought I was thinking Romulus.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
I mean, if he likes making movies, then do whatever you want. But
do whatever you want, but it sucks.
He's got 6 upcoming projects slated as director.
Jesus Christ.
You Should Be Dancing, Roads to Freedom, Queen and Country, The Dog Stars, Wraiths of the Broken Land, and Dope Thief, which is a TV series.
Greatness. He did Thelma and Louise, and then he did
All the Money in the
did
World.
Alien, Thelma and Louise, Gladiator, other ones.
The Martian.
Other ones.
I always forget The Martian is him.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Martian was good.
Kingdom of Heaven, Matchstick Men, Black Hawk Down,
Black Hawk Down.
G.I. Jane.
He did G.I. Jane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Black Rank Legend.
But
I mean, that's why he's getting the money.
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
the Blade Runner,
Oh yeah, Blade Runner.
which has kind of been made irrelevant with 2049.
After the last
Has it?
A little bit.
After The Last Duel, it was House of Gucci, Napoleon, and Gladiator 2.
Napoleon, not good.
Napoleon. Yeah.
Gucci, I haven't seen it.
Disappointing.
But yeah, this was probably one of the worst movies of the year. Of this year, probably.
Bro.
Wow.
Bro.
That is a well.
Just because like you have the high of Gladiator 1.
So you're...
You have to, I mean, there's no other comparison.
I'm grading it on a curve, but Joseph's grading it on a real curve.
Yeah.
That is a heavy curve.
Well,
I'm basing it off of my enjoyment, and I had no enjoyment.
well, you heard it here first.
My first movie of the year, I think, is still the worst. Like that came out this year. It was Founders Day.
Oh yeah.
The movie stinks.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry, creators of Founders Day.
I mean, I did watch a worse movie than Gladiator 2 this week, but it didn't come out this year.
What was that?
We'll talk about
Talk
it.
about it later.
All right.
But I forgot. I did go see Interstellar.
In IMAX.
Re-release on IMAX last night,
Good for you.
and
Oh my god, I'm so jealous.
and it was fantastic. It was sold out. It was just as much people there as there was the first time I watched it, which was also in the same theater. And it wasn't unfortunately, was not the 70 millimeter. So it didn't have that little extra, zhuzh, you know?
I mean, you saw it in IMAX.
But the first time I saw it, they had the print. I don't think it was 70. I think it was 65 millimeter. But like, I remember someone commented on the IMAX, like, why no 70 millimeter, Esquire? And they're like, well, those prints are fucking huge, first of all. I mean, when they did Oppenheimer, they had the
I like how that's
70 millimeter.
that IMAX's response was, well, first of all, the prints were fucking huge.
They didn't say fucking. but
Official.
I added that. The Oppenheimer, they had the print for 70 millimeter, which was even bigger because it's a longer movie. Actually, is it that much longer? It's like 15 minutes longer.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
But yeah, it was a great experience. The sound was really the most impactful moment, and obviously the screen size. But like it like hits harder emotionally and audio wise.
Did you cry?
I did
Yeah.
actually.
Which
And,
part? When he comes back and she's old?
I mean, that's one.
That got me.
When he's leaving.
The water planet.
Is one.
When he comes back from the water planet. It's been like 28 years and he has to watch his kids grow up.
Yeah, when he's watching
In
his
the TikTok version
when
style.
he's watching his kids grow up. Yeah. That I think those are the 3 parts where you get a little misty-eyed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great experience.
I really love that movie, and I have a love-hate relationship when he goes, "This little maneuver is going to cost us 50 years or whatever."
Just the line?
Yeah, that one line.
I don't have a problem with that line. I have a problem with
Sometimes I love it. Sometimes I'm like, that's so cringy.
I have a problem with Anne Hathaway's character, just because Nolan doesn't know how to write women.
True.
She's like so annoying in the first half of the movie. And then the whole when he's in the Tesseract, when he's floating in the library in the black hole, and they're like, they didn't choose me, they chose her. And then Tarz is like, for what? And he goes, to save the world. And I was like, okay, all right, Nolan.
Yeah, okay.
We know what you're there to do.
Yeah.
But overall, arguably, like,
congratulations, I'm proud of you.
His greatest movie.
I would say so. I would agree with that. Yeah.
If not his greatest, his best looking movie.
Yeah, I like The Prestige more. I think it's just as a whole, it's for me it hits harder. But I think the Interstellar's an amazing feat and arguably could be up there.
Probably his most emotional movie.
Yeah.
Prestige?
No, Interstellar.
But I don't know. The twist in Prestige, the Prestige and the twist in Prestige really was impactful for me.
It felt like when they're on Earth, like it feels real. Like it doesn't feel like a Nolan movie, I guess, where it feels very clean. It feels very like dirty and kind of gritty, and
like the Earth is actually dying.
Yeah, and it feels like the way it's shot. It feels like just very natural.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel staged. It doesn't feel like a set.
Yeah.
It feels, the lighting is fantastic when they're in that farmhouse.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Pete, do you have any news stories of note?
Just the discussion of
perfect.
Gladiator 2. That's all I wanted to talk about.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, that was a good discussion of a movie that I probably will not see.
Yeah.
I do like the idea.
Don't pay for it.
I do like the idea of sharks in a coliseum, though. But
yeah,
there's plenty of shark movies out there.
There is. There is. So I had a interesting thought yesterday on what's this? Today's the 7th.
Today's Saturday, the 7th.
7th. So, okay, so on December 6th, after I got off of a long shift of work, I had an interesting thought while I was sitting in my backyard. Like what? And we talked about this before we started recording because of this idea, like. And Pete brought it up and said...
Don't pull the curtain back. Just
ask the question.
Just give your premise.
Okay, so if you had to be spiritually conjoined to your favorite movie character and your least favorite movie character, meaning this is like a apparition that follows you around that you can interact with, but it does not affect the physical world around you.
It's like a ghost.
Like a ghost. That's where I was going to go with that.
They're tethered to you.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Got it.
I need you guys over in having when I have
need
these
us spiritually conjoined to you.
Yeah, so when I have these crackpot ideas, anyways. So if you had a spiritual apparition following you around that you can talk to and interact with all the time, who would be the best and who would be the worst attached to you? So I will
go ahead, lead us off.
So for myself, I immediately thought of the worst one when I thought about this idea.
Okay,
Gollum. It would be the most.
Wait, Gollum or Schmeagol?
Both.
Okay,
both. Gollum and Schmeagol are such a pain in the ass. To have that person sitting around me while I'm delivering packages all day. Oh my god! I would. It's kind of like what's that illness where like you commit suicide? It's like cluster headaches or something like that.
Yeah,
like
hurricane headaches or cluster headaches.
Yeah, where people like are more likely to kill themselves. Like, well, if Gollum was like sitting like right next to me, going like, "Hey, Kanye, you got a package that you need to deliver to this house," or something. This package is my precious. It's like, shut up.
Okay,
that would be like my living hell. However. Moving on to my best one.
Okay.
Chewbacca.
Okay.
Chewie.
That's not bad.
Yeah. You have this big, lovable, 7-foot tall, furry creature following you around. You can't understand him, but he's...
You could figure it out.
Yeah. I was going to say, you would have plenty of time to learn.
Yeah. And
I think so. Is the best and worst following you around at the same time?
Not at the same time. No.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, if you could choose the best, like mine would be Chewbacca, and then I wouldn't choose the worst, obviously. But if I was punished to have the worst,
what would you least like?
Yeah, it'd be Gollum or
okay.
or the Joker. And now that I'm
The
thinking,
Joker.
Which Joker?
Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh,
Just don't, why
not
would you be the
Jared. Not
worst?
Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Jared-
way worse.
Well, actually, you know what? I stand corrected.
At least Heath Ledger's Joker would be
I
interesting.
stand corrected.
He's
and
saying
then also,
crazy shit all the time. Like, I'm like a dog chasing a car. I don't know what I would do if I would catch it.
it's like, okay, all right, Joker.
Yeah,
Sound like Pennywise.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
clown.
So
Enough from the clown.
So I defer to you guys. Pete, have you thought of this? I mean,
Yes,
I know I
have
sprung
a-
it up.
No,
But
it's okay. I immediately I thought of Donkey from Shrek as the worst.
Oh, the worst.
Fucking worst.
That's funny.
And imagine trying
that'd
to
be hell on earth.
imagine trying to shoehorn him into the passenger seat of a car too. Just the logistics
even think
don't
about
make
that.
sense. You know, right?
A medium-sized, four-legged, hoofed creature
Into my
your
car. Yeah.
I like the idea.
Well, you had a Great Dane for a long time.
and that was tough.
Yeah.
smaller than that.
And she was cooperative.
Actually, would Donkey be the size of a like a? Would he
I would
be like
imagine a real donkey.
Yeah, it would be
would
a real donkey.
So would he be a like a not like Roger Rabbit style? He would still be the animated donkey.
He would be the animated donkey, but he takes up a physical space, I imagine.
the
in
size of a
scenario.
regular
Yeah.
donkey.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about being an apparition, like it probably doesn't matter. It can cooperate. Like it's not physically
walk through walls?
It's not physically interacting with.
It
the
doesn't
real
matter.
world.
You're getting off subject. The point is,
I don't have to pick him up.
he's the worst. He's the worst road trip companion in Shrek, anyways.
Right.
He's in the back seat, in the back of the Onion. He's like, not saying anything. It's like
my
you couldn't
God,
reason with someone like that. He's psychotic.
Yeah.
He likes to sing. He likes to compare. He point out your weaknesses and all of your shortcomings. He's terrible, and he thinks that he's your friend, and you're like he doesn't do anything to be help the friendship.
Right.
So Donkey's the worst.
he makes waffles.
Best, yeah. That's, he theoretically makes waffles. I've never seen the waffles.
He has a dragon girlfriend.
Yeah, also bad. I
girl
don't want
dragon.
that. The best is the guy in Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou that plays David Bowie songs in French.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Just follow me around and play acoustic guitar, singing David Bowie songs in French.
Okay.
Fuck yeah. That guy's cool as shit. And I might learn French.
Yeah. I mean, after a while.
Eventually.
I might.
Well, if I hear the same songs over and over again, Bowie's
At
only
least
got
I'll know the song in French.
Bowie's only got a finite catalog, so he's gonna repeat the songs at some point. And then I'm like, oh,
All right, let's move on to a different
yeah, okay,
artist.
continue.
Um,
What do you got, Joseph?
my best. I think I'm also gonna go from the Tolkien verse and pick Samwise
Yeah.
as the
that's pretty
best
good.
companion. I know he can't actually do anything physically, but if he could, he knows how to make potatoes.
Opens and drop no Eve, so I swear it.
Very encouraging.
Yeah.
Knows poems. Always has lambus bread.
Yeah.
And just a jolly guy, and he's small.
Yeah. And he's small.
I could put it in my pocket. The worst, Freddy Krueger.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Bad puns. Looks like
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Oh my God, Freddy! Shut up, please.
Yeah.
Buckle up, Joseph.
You going to sleep? I love sleep. I love when other people sleep. I'll just stand here in the corner and watch you.
oh. If
I
it
also fuck kids.
as going on the board next week.
I knew it as I was saying. Kick those kids away from me.
If it was Fred Krueger who was your apparition, your tethered apparition, would he also be in his Joseph's dreams, Tyler?
You dare dream about them?
Would he have to?
But Samwise would also have to be in my dreams.
No.
I don't.
Samwise doesn't have that.
I don't
ability.
make the rules. I don't know. I
You
mean,
do.
I
You
guess.
quite literally do.
Maybe I make the rules.
I guess. I guess if he were, so if it's the worst one, like that's just like hell on earth for you. Like you at that. Oh man, this is.
I almost picked Horton from Horton Hears a Who, just because I like the character.
Is that the
elephant? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that would be bad.
In the chat, Angry Otter says he would take Golem over Buddy the Elf any day. Buddy the Elf would be a terrible sidekick.
Yeah, that would be bad. Yeah, that's a.
Francisco.
As much as he's,
Francisco.
I feel like that positivity might rub off on you at some point.
I get it. You like sugar.
Yeah. You like maple syrup? Is there sugar and syrup? Yeah. Then I do. And he says Doc Brown would be his top pick because he's the coolest sidekick anyone can have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Doc Brown would be good.
Doc Brown would be pretty cool.
I feel like Doc Brown would be a bad influence on you though, because he'd make you go on to like
He'd make
these,
you fuck your mom.
No, he'd make your mom fuck you.
Yeah, that's
Very different.
You know, I also thought about that while I was en route the other day about
Fucking your mom.
Oh God. You walked right into it, Tyler. Sorry.
What were you thinking about?
I was thinking about Back to the Future on how creepy
Specifically
that's
the mom and son relationship.
correct. Yeah, I thought it was just
You
like
could've said no.
It was a fleeting thought because I was just like staring off into space. I was like, man, that was a weird scene. It's still it's to
You
this
brought
day.
that up no less than 5 times.
I have.
Yes.
Oh.
That's concerning to me.
It's not.
She doesn't know it's just her son in the future.
But it's still just like the choice, the creative choice to have that in the movie is weird.
That's the point.
I know, but it I don't know, it creeps me out.
Anything else?
I did hear that in the new Nosferatu movie, they used real rats.
Yeah, they
on
used
set.
like thousands of rats.
I don't want to hear anything more about it. I'm going in blind.
Thousands of rats
well, I
and
mean,
thousands
it's
of
not about-
candles to light the scenes.
Yeah, it's not about the plot. It's I think one of the actresses was saying you can't even imagine the smell.
Imagine the smell. Think of the smell.
It was only in in a brief title. I was like, yeah, I can't imagine the smell of 1,000 rats on a movie set.
Somehow I can.
I can't remember what movie it was, but there was like a rats in a scene. Oh, I think it was an Indiana Jones movie with rats, and there's a shot like video of
Yeah, it was in the Last Crusade.
behind the scenes video of Harrison Ford, like he's like holding and like caressing like one of the rats. He's like, look at my little friend here.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was from.
Yeah, that, and there's also the bug scene in that too.
yeah.
That's Temple of Doom. I'm sorry, Temple of Doom.
Oh yeah,
is the
Temple of
bugs.
Doom was legs, and then Last Crusade was the rats, and then the snake scene. Well, yeah,
More,
obviously
Temple
they
of Doom, more like Temple of Boom.
Very good.
Zing. All right. Well, that's it. Let's get into some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus, oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
Streaming picks, movies that we watched this week on all of our favorite streaming platforms. Joseph, what do you got for us this week?
I have only a couple things, few things. Are we gonna do the Dear Santa now or
Yeah.
at the end?
I think we should do. Well, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it at the very end.
What about
Okay.
our punishment movies? Should we
Do the punishment movie now.
Okay. All right. So I only watched a couple things and then a punishment movie. So I caught up with Jennifer's Body.
Yes.
Streaming on Hulu right
Cool,
now,
cool.
starring Amanda Seyfried and
Megan Fox.
MGK's wife.
Megan Fox.
And Kyle Gallner.
Oh yeah, and Cal Gallner, for the handsome lad Cal Gallner as
Yeah.
an emo kid.
He did clarify on Twitter that his name is pronounced Gallner.
Really?
Yeah.
Like gallstones?
Like gallstones. He says, someone asked how do you pronounce his last name, and he said Gallner like a lady, a gal like a lady.
Interesting.
And he said not Gallner, Goll.
Gallner.
Very different look in this movie. And he's also a lot younger. This came out in 2009.
A simple child.
And I knew like a loose plot about this movie. I knew that she was a cannibalistic creature. Jennifer is Megan Fox's character. I didn't know how she became that way. I thought she was. My assumption was that she was just a new girl at school who showed up, and then people started dying.
No.
And then the movie starts, and it's like kind of like a Mean Girls, but with demons.
Yeah.
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 But and then also the added element of a band with the lead singer Adam Brody.
Low shoulder.
Yeah.
Low shoulder. It's like a joke.
It is.
Yeah. And this was a kind of like a campy high school movie with the added like demonic possession, bloody cannibal movie,
Yeah.
sort of. And it was entertaining. It was fun. I Had a good time with it. It was very 2009 for sure. Some colorful language in this movie.
Yep.
Very interesting creative uses of certain words that I've never heard before. It's almost like they were dancing around using it just like full force.
What word?
I will not be repeating the word. But it's a very kind of a tragic and gruesome story Jennifer has and how she gets to become that type of possessed, essentially.
Succubus.
Yeah, succubus.
Yeah. And then there's like, they explain more lore behind it. Like, we need a virgin to sacrifice. Oh, she wasn't a virgin. This is what happens when it's not a virgin. And then, but it's
clever.
Like, it's like the same results, but it's even worse.
Yeah.
And then the end credits kind of comes full circle, and it kind of like they tell the revenge story in the credits.
Yeah.
From Amanda Seyfried's point of view. And it starts in the end of the story, and you're like, where are we starting here? Where am I in the plot?
Yeah.
And then it goes back. And then I'm like, oh, I see. And then it's unfortunate what happens to Seyfried's character.
Yeah.
But she seems fine about it. She seems calm about it. More than thrilled.
Yeah, she seems like she's like, cool.
But yeah,
I'll just do this now.
It was good. It was fun.
Nice.
And it's streaming on Hulu. It's Christmas season, so I'm watching Christmas movies. The Jim Carrey's Grinch is not streaming anywhere, but I have it on DVD, full screen edition. And just as good as ever. But what is streaming is the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Cool.
Streaming on Disney Plus. You can also watch the extended version or the full.
Yeah, it has
full version.
A whole song was cut out for the theatrical or something.
I kind of understand why. I watched it and I was like, this is not adding anything really. What they cut out it still made sense. what they cut out. But yeah, I mean, Jim Henson's a treasure. Or Jim Henson and Brian Henson, because Brian Henson directed this.
The Henson brothers.
That's his son.
Father-son.
Yeah. Exactly.
The music is wonderful, and Michael Caine gives a dynamite performance, and it's a tale as old as time.
It's a delight.
Christmas Carol. Muppets are
really hard to say is a bad thing about that movie.
The Muppets and the Henson franchise, Henson family are wonderful.
Angry Otter says that Whoville in The Grinch was built on the back of the Bates Motel set on the Universal lot.
I believe it all happened on a snowflake, actually.
Good point, Joseph. Wait a second.
So that was streaming on Disney Plus. And then my punishment movie for not watching the correct movie last week. Streaming on Tubi, along with every other entry into this franchise of the Amityville series, is Amityville in Space.
Yep.
Streaming on Tubi, like I said, and this was truly the definition of a punishment movie.
Agreed. Agreed.
I was like searching for this movie. I came across all of the other movies.
Yeah.
The other, I don't know, they're going wild places with this franchise. There is Amityville Death Toilet. That's a movie.
Yeah.
Amityville Backpack, where it's like a backpack with the house
coming out of it
in the backpack. There's like Amityville Clown.
Amityville Bigfoot.
What? I don't know who's greenlighting all these movies, but if you're a filmmaker, you can do it. You
just slap that Amityville name on there, and
I'm saying like you like if these things can get streaming and available for people to watch these feature length movies, you can do it. If they can do it, you can do it.
Yeah,
because this was one of the worst movies I've seen, and I don't know what else to compare it to.
Just out of pure solidarity, I watched it for you too.
Yeah,
and it was.
Yeah,
I was looking for one single line in the movie that was delivered competently from any of the actors, and I couldn't find one.
Yeah, it was made on an incredibly low budget. Looks like it was shot on a Canon T2i. on 720p, and the movie starts with a house on Earth, and like crimes have already been committed. There's police there. The cop is wearing a beret and smoking a cigar for some reason. There's a fields reporter there, and there's a priest, Father Benna, shows up. And I think he goes in the house, and then a black hole opens up.
It's like eyes are just floating in the living room, like,
and then
be here.
Yeah, and then it just gets sucked into the black hole, and then it jumps 1,000 years into the future, and we're in space, and then a ship like Event Horizon
style,
shows up and then intercepts like the house almost.
And their mission that they're on is to blow up black holes.
Yeah, they're going around and blowing up black holes.
It's like beaver dam, blowing up beaver dams, but they're black holes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which is weird because the black hole is already like the imploded star, right?
Commander, morale is low. We only have one mega warhead left to blow up one more black hole.
Yeah. And the effects of the warhead is just like a still image of a 3D rendering of a missile. And there's one main demon of this thing, of this Amityville house, and it's like a black cloak robe with a hood and like a Halloween
face wrap,
like a Halloween mask with like part of it covered, like the bottom part of it covered. But the dude just has human hands.
Yeah. The quote unquote robot that goes in to find him was like, it's a figure robed in black, dark skin, except for his hands are white. It's just a white guy.
Yeah, it's just a guy in a robe and a mask, and they altered his voice, so they did a voiceover.
Oh, it was so bad too. The effect on the audio was bad too.
Yeah. And there's
truly a punishment then.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, this movie sucks.
It's got an average rating of 2.5 on IMDb.
Jesus,
that seems high.
That seems really high.
Let's see. This is Michael Elliott.
Oh,
reviewed it.
Nice.
He gave it a 2.5.
Motherfucker, what?
Michael Elliott
out of 4.
Yeah, I know.
Which is
that's above average for him.
That's a pretty good. He's got a review on it.
Probably 5 paragraphs.
It's 1, 2, 4 paragraphs. If you're going to film anything, this is from him. If you're going into a film called Amityville in Space, then you should know that it's not going to be Shakespeare.
Okay,
that's what he says.
There's a whole.
Honestly, I was expecting Shakespeare.
So there's a whole cottage industry of like filmmakers, and I use that term very loosely, that are making movies specifically to be so bad that people like us watch this movie on Tubi, and then they get $1 from it.
Yeah,
because that's the AVOD, ad assist VOD. Tubi's making money on the ads that are running on it, and then a portion of that ad money goes to the filmmaker who submitted the movie. When we had Amityville Christmas Vacation director Steve Rudzinski on the show last year, the concept of an Amityville movie is intentionally tongue-in-cheek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
can see that.
Yeah, he's got his own movies and stuff, but when he made the Amityville movie, he was like, I'm just going to make an Amityville Christmas movie because I fucking love Christmas movies. And Amityville is this open, you can't copyright it because it's the name of a town or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only thing in common I've seen on any of them on the posters is that it's the window with the house with the 2 windows that are like half circle windows. And that's it. But that's a terrible movie.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It'd be great if it was like 65 minutes.
It's 75 minutes.
I know that seemed a lot longer.
Any of those movies is really a punishment movie.
Yeah.
Any of these new iterations of Amityville.
The IMDb rating was lower on Amityville Karen, which Brianna
Amityville Karen
brought to us. She opens a bottle of wine and it's cursed from the Amityville ghost.
But yeah.
Okay.
So don't watch that.
All right. Is that it?
Yes.
All right. Pete, what do you have for us this week?
Okay, I watched a pretty good mix of movies. I'm gonna go worst to first. First off, streaming on Netflix, the movie's called Afraid or Afraid.
Afraid.
It's about an AI that turns a killer.
Oh,
Terminator.
I heard about this one.
Yeah, Terminator style. I'm gonna read the synopsis from
Megan
from Letterboxd. Chris Pike and his family are selected to test a new home device, a digital assistant called Aya. Aya observes the family's behavior and begins to anticipate their needs, and she can and will make sure nothing and no one gets in her family's way. So this is starring John Cho, Catherine Waterston, Keith Carradine, Havana Rose Liu, Ashley Romans, David Dastmalchian, and a few other people you might recognize. Ricky Lindholm's in it for a hot minute. This is really not good. This seems like it was written by AI. And you kind of hear that a lot now with like shitty movies when people watch them and they go, "Oh, was this script written by AI?" It may have been.
It might have had some assistance from AI.
Yeah.
This movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's really bad. Like none of the characters act like human beings. The responses don't like human beings. The conversations are like two people who have never spoken English before. It's almost like they wrote it in Chinese and then translated it or something.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, you can't make it sound more natural. Just read it exactly how it's written on the page, please. And John Cho's character, it works for a marketing company. And one of the products that they're marketing is this AI technology called Aya. And in order to, before they roll it out, they want to make sure that it's legit and it actually does what they say it is. And it's not just some like glorified Alexa. And then they bring it into the house and they put these they call them eyes. They're like little sensors around the cameras around the whole house so the computer can see what's happening. And it starts like befriending the children and it teaches the little kid some like hand signals that like summons the AI or some shit like that. It's so fucking weird and not good.
So it's just a more complicated Alexa.
Kind of. But it's like one of like the daughter is Havana Rose Liu. She sends a nude to her boyfriend and her boyfriend takes her face and puts it on like an AI porn face swap thing and like accidentally sends it on like Snapchat or some shit. Now everybody sees it at her school. And the Aya goes, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." And the AI makes a video of the teenage girl with her voice, citing all this legal jargon about how that's technically child porn. And I sent this picture in confidence to, my boyfriend, and it was a mistake. But then he turned around and did all this stuff. And whoever did this is potentially, if they're over 18, could be liable for child pornography and, revenge porn laws and all this stuff. And it'd be a shame if the college he wants to go to, Stanford, finds out about this and then like doxes his house and like ruins his life and shit. And it's all posted as if the girl made the post. And you're like, oh, good for her. The AI did something good. We ruined this guy's life for posting revenge porn of this poor girl and ruins her life. And then he kills the kid. Like takes over his Tesla. He's driving a Tesla and like crashes into a tree or something.
God.
And like it's so bizarre, like over the top.
I think like the way you're describing it on paper, it sounds like it could be a compelling movie. But
I will say it was fun to watch. So that like so bad it's good. It's not terribly made. Like it's competently made and it looks okay, but the people just don't act like people. So none of it feels authentic or real. And the child actors were pretty good.
Yeah.
There's 3 kids, one's like very, very young and one's like a 10 or 12 or something and the girl's 17, 18, still in high school. And they were pretty believable, which is interesting because usually the kid actors are the ones that are not capable of emoting correctly.
Yeah.
It's all the adults are just I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like his boss is such a bizarre character. So that's streaming on Netflix. Maybe watch it with a group of friends so you can have a good laugh.
Frey-eyed. I feel like I heard about this movie, like being made with AI.
Oh, really?
I feel like I did, but because of the nature of the movie. Not that I would watch. If it was, I won't watch it. But
yeah, people were saying that about Gladiator 2 too. They're like, it feels like this was written by AI. Okay, so my next one is a little bit more bizarre movie. I've never even heard of it before, called Even Dwarfs Started Small, from 1970. It's streaming on Tubi, Roku, Shout TV, Pluto, Plex, Kanopy, and Fandor. I watched it on Blu-ray because I bought this Werner Herzog movie collection, and I'm just starting from one side and working my way to the next. I think it's like 12 movies or something like that. And this is a movie that's cast entirely from Little People. This is in 1970. It's in German, and the inhabitants of an institution in a remote country rebel against their keepers. Their acts of rebellion are by turns humorous, boring, and alarming. An allegory on the problematic nature of fully liberating the human spirit As both commendable and disturbing elements of our nature come forward, the film shows how justifiable revolt may be empowering, but may also turn into chaos and depravity. So it's kind of like Lord of the Flies, except for instead of children, it's like little people, dwarfs. Yeah. So they're like being held in this facility, and then they turn on their captors.
What are children if they're not little people?
It's a great point. You got me there. But it's very unnerving, this movie, and not just because it's like a bunch of dwarfs running around, whatever. Hey, what's up? Dallas is in the chat. What's up, Dal? But it's just the filmmaking is strange. I mean, it's Werner Herzog, so you know you're getting something weird out of it. But it was very unnerving, and there's no real plot to it besides just the basics of what I said.
Yeah,
you're just watching these people kind of live their life in a compound that's not made for little people. So just to like open the window, they got to pull a chair over to the thing and step on a box, get on the chair, open the window, come down, and they're like kind of turning on each other a little bit. And there's like a social hierarchy that's happening, and the entire time audio is not good, the acting is terrible.
Color me intrigued though.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I'm bringing it up because it is interesting, but it's from 1970 and it's really early on in Werner's career. I thought it was a documentary, and I got into it. I'm like, this is a narrative.
And as you can see, the little people live in this compound in which it was not designed for them.
They shriek in terror constantly, clawing at their eyes.
I'm German.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. The next one that's the not so good is called Don't Move, also streaming on Netflix. It's a weird sort of like I don't want to say killer. I mean, he's a killer, but he kidnaps his woman and like injects her with something that makes her not being able to move. She becomes paralyzed. And then the whole movie is like how she gets away from him. And you're like, how could she get away from him? She's paralyzed.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it's interesting.
She's just laying there the whole movie?
Kind of.
Wow.
This is a very frustrating movie, and it's not great. The lead, Kelsey Asbill, she was pretty good for not moving for most of the movie. She did a good job.
For not moving, you did a pretty good job.
Yeah, but again, just bad dialogue and stuff. This is kind of like this is what I would point to as a Netflix movie. If I were someone's like, what are you talking about, a Netflix movie? This is it. Kind of geared for a younger audience, maybe. Looks competently made, but ultimately just a whole lot of nothing. So it's not good. Missed the mark. Feels like all the fine points of the storytelling and acting were just not there. Next up movie is a movie that is available on VOD now. You do have to rent it.
What?
But it's called The Invisible Raptor.
Oh.
From 2023. Very similar to Amityville in Space.
Really?
Where they're purposely making
a bad
movie.
Okay.
Oh.
But this actually feels more like a real movie, just with an insane concept. You remember that movie I was streaming pick a while back called Bad CGI Gator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same idea, except for in this, how do you get, for Bad CGI Gator, how do you make an entire movie about a killer crocodile or alligator, but you don't have a budget? Well, you just make it a bad CGI gator and lean into the joke. In this one, the monster is not there. The raptor is invisible. So there is no CGI budget because there is no monster.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. I think that is really interesting.
The monster was us all along.
Yes. Sean Astin is front and center on the poster. He's in it for like 5 minutes at the very beginning.
He's the heaviest hitter.
He's the selling point.
Yeah, easily. The lead actor is Mike Capes, Capes, or Capes maybe. He also produced it. He also wrote it. And this is like, he works at a kind of one of these like Marine World Africa USA theme parks. SeaWorld or something. Yeah. But he's like teaching kids about prehistoric dinosaurs, and it's got the fossil and the raptor claw and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a direct scene pull from Demolition Man where someone's eyeball gets pulled out and used as like retina scan, and then they step on it afterwards. There's a direct scene pull from E.T. when he's like rolling the baseball into like shed or whatever,
into
and
the
then,
shadows.
Yeah, and then it rolls it back and he lures it into his room with candy, just like that. Except for the kid gets eaten at the end. He gets all the way up to his room. Oh, this invisible raptor's eating all my candy, and then he gets up to his room and he fucking eats the kid.
Yeah, nice.
So this is way, way, way more bloody and gory than I was expecting. like people are constantly being decapitated or limbs ripped off, blood spewing through the air. No one's safe. Characters are just recklessly eaten or torn to bits. Little kids, dogs, old people, like everything. And it's not great, but I think it kind of lands in the sweet spot of they know it's bad, but they're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
it's like kind of big ass spider energy. So, anyways, that's streaming on Amazon Prime. You could rent it for like $7 or something like that. Probably wait a little bit for that, but if that sounds like your jam, I'd watch it. My Punishment movie, Weirdsville, 2007. This is directed by Alan Moyle. He's the guy that directed Empire Records. I don't love Empire Records. People seem to have a freaking boner for that movie. I don't get it. It's good enough, but it's not. I don't think it's a like defining movie of our generation.
Never seen it. So.
Yeah, it's all right. But
that's the good one, right?
What?
Empire Records.
What about it?
Of the record store movies.
What's the other record store movies?
High Fidelity.
High Fidelity is the best.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Okay. Boo. Weirdsville was chosen by Binge Lord Dan. He sent me a message on
Dan himself
on Blue Sky.
Dan himself.
There was a discussion last week on whether or not this should be a punishment movie because it was kind of regarded as an okay movie.
No,
doesn't Dan like it?
I messaged you guys. We didn't talk about it on air.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's where you heard it.
Yeah,
I don't know where I'm at half the time.
Yeah, Dan says that it's not. To him, it's not a punishment movie. He says he likes it, but he had Jason from Binge Movies watch it, and him and Megan trashed it on their show. So I thought it was fun. I was definitely not Amityville in space.
I mean, it's an easy bar to get over.
Very much so, yeah. A pair of slackers getting way over their heads when they try to dump the body of a dead girlfriend in the basement of a drive-in movie theater where a satanic cult is performing ritual sacrifices.
That is definitely weird.
That happens within the first 15 minutes of the movie, and the rest is the fallout from that.
Okay.
And it's like two druggy slackers. One of them's played by Scott Speedman. The other one's played by Wes Bentley. You recognize both of the guys if you've seen them, but I couldn't pick their names out of a crowd if I just gave me their name. And then Taryn Manning, who is in Orange is the New Black and a couple other movies. She's the girlfriend. She ODs, and they go to bury her. And then while they're burying her, some cult is sacrificing somebody, and they're like, what are you guys doing?
What are you doing here?
And then they get in this whole altercation, and they bring her back to life with the blood of the sacrifice. Power of Satan brings her back to life.
Oh.
Or maybe she just came to. It's never quite sure.
She just came to.
There's a lot of really weird stuff in this movie called Weirdsville. I honestly don't know why it's called Weirdsville, though. I think it's just because at one point they're in a scene and they break into a house and they see a newspaper clipping and someone says, "This is so-and-so seen here in Weirdsville." Like Weirdsville, Ontario or whatever.
Okay.
And, Quebec, Weirdsville, Quebec, because it's Canadian. And that's the only correlation. I don't know. It gets weird. They have like a bounty on them because they owe this like kind of gangster money, and he keeps trying to cut their thumbs off or break their knees. And that whole thing comes to the end. They're trying to rob a house that has millions of Canadian dollars in there. I don't know. It's kind of all over the place, but I had a good time. It was really fun. I'd probably give it like three stars, maybe 3.5, kind of high 3 stars. Pretty fun. So it's like if you like Go, you might like this movie. Very similar sort of energy, but very Canadian.
So not really a punishment movie.
No, I don't think it was at all. So thanks, Dan. Appreciate that, buddy.
Sweet.
I watched another.
They understand a punishment movie. It's not a movie that you like. It's a movie that nobody will
Tough
like.
titty, Joseph. The real reason why I watched Amityville in Space is because I felt like I wasn't thoroughly punished enough. Okay, I watched another Werner Herzog movie literally the next year after the Dwarf movie. It's called Fata Morgana. Streaming on all the same places. Tubi, Roku, Shout TV, Plex, Kanopy, Fandor, all that stuff. This is like a Wes Anderson movie mixed with a Larry Clark movie and Harmony Korine, because they all owe a debt of gratitude to Werner for this movie. It's a sort of like non-narrative structure that feels right at home in all those directors' wheelhouses, like their modern stuff. Yeah. Really cool, interesting, weirdly shot movie. It says, shot under extreme conditions and inspired by Mayan creation theory, the film contemplates the illusion of reality and the possibility of capturing for the camera something which is not there. It's about the mirages of natures and the nature of a mirage.
I think you need to start reading Werner Herzog movie descriptions in the voice of Werner Herzog.
Okay, next week I will. Yeah. This is in Algeria, and the entire movie, it's kind of like Koniana Scotzi.
Koyani Scotzi, that one?
Yeah, or Baraka, where it's like, it's just images and video of a civilization,
Mm-hmm.
but it's one, so it's not like all over the world, it's just like one, and it's this Algeria. It's like on the outskirts in the desert, and these like ramshackle sort of towns, and sometimes it's just very long shots of Werner on the back of you don't see him, but he's on the back of a truck filming as they're driving through the desert and the things that they're seeing out there.
Yeah.
Carcasses of dead cows, children playing like flies all over their head and stuff like that.
So this is a documentary?
It's a documentary.
Sort of?
It's kind of a type of a documentary.
Is there a narrative?
The VO that's over the entire movie is a local woman reciting the creation theory.
Oh, interesting.
Basically like how, and it's broken into 3 parts.
That sounds really cool, actually.
It was, yeah. At first I was watching it, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And once I settled into what I was actually getting myself into, it was really cool. So this is my second highest recommend for the week. It's streaming on all those places. Go into it with just kind of an open eyes and, sit down for something. This would be a great one to like watch with your morning coffee before the day starts.
Yeah.
Because it's just really wild, really wild. It's a great early morning movie. But my number one recommendation is Smile 2, streaming right now on Paramount Plus.
Really?
Fubo, MGM Plus. Super, super fun horror movie.
Okay.
Great popcorn movie. You said you liked Trap. Trap was good.
Trap was fun.
Okay, yeah.
Trap was fun.
Good?
Okay. Thank you. How did you feel about Shyamalan's daughter playing Lady Raven? Believable?
Neither here nor there.
Okay, yeah. She's very middle of the road.
Yeah. And Josh Hartnett was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, he was great. I don't think she was believable at all. In this one, Naomi Scott plays the main character of Sky Riley. She's like a Lady Gaga type character.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga mixed with maybe like a Britney Spears or Kesha or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she's fucking nails it.
Mm-hmm.
You 100% believe her. She's great. And she's losing her mind because she's infected by this smile demon. And
I've seen pictures of that. I've never seen either of these movies, but I've seen the picture of that thing. The practical effects of it.
Yeah, I have too. It's crazy.
It's interesting because
it's like a giant Eraserhead baby.
It kind of is.
The first movie, you don't think that's an actual monster. You think it's more of like a spirit or a demon.
Like an It Follows type of thing?
Correct. But in this one, and at the very end of the first one, you see it come out and it's like, whoa, very practical. In this one, the same thing happens, but the creature looks different, which I liked. And it was just as disturbing and crazy and weird. But the characters are complex in this. You don't always love her and you don't always hate her. Like it's easy to just make her a piece of shit through the whole thing or make her the sympathetic, hero.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little bit of both. And you don't really love her mom / manager through most of it, but there are moments where you're like, okay, yeah, she's trying to help her. She's pretty despicable for most of it, but then there's peek throughs where she's, like her mom. I don't know. This is really good. Yeah, it's in it.
Okay.
Yeah,
is it better than the first one?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I liked the first one a lot.
Do you have to see the first one to enjoy the second one?
I think it would behoove you to watch the first one. You don't have to, but you would do better too.
Would I be bequeathed?
You would be
Bequeathed.
Yes, it would. You would be at the behest of the first one. Ergo, watch the first one.
Ergo.
Yes, the first one is germane to the second one. So.
Look at us.
And Kyle Gallner is in the opening scene, and he's great. The first opening scene is a long take. It's like a one take. Really fucking good. So,
And he's in the first one, isn't he?
he is. Yeah, he's a police officer in the first one.
A cop?
He's a cop. Yeah. So, really, really fun. Watch Smile streaming on Smile 2 and streaming on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
It's up to you, Tyler.
Bring
us home.
So I watched 2 movies this week. I'm gonna go with.
I did it!
I watched more, but I'm gonna stick to the two. So first off, I watched 2015's Krampus.
Cool.
Nice.
Did not like it as much as I thought I would. I think that it definitely needed more violence. There wasn't that the violence wasn't as satisfying as I anticipated it was going to be. But my biggest compliment to this movie is the sound design is freaking great.
Did you watch it with headphones on?
Yeah, I watched it with headphones on, and like the hooves on the roof, like just like everything about the sound design and mixing, like really kept you into the movie. Adam Scott was really, he's always good in everything he does, but he was really funny in this movie. And I was surprised. I went into this movie pretty blind. I didn't know Toni Collette was in it.
Yeah, she's great.
I forgot that she's in it.
And so when I saw her like come up on screen, I was like, oh my God, it's Toni Collette. I was like, we're in for a treat now.
It'd be weird if you said something else. Oh my God, that's Russell Crowe.
I think it's a pretty simple story. It's an easy watch. I just wish that it was a little bit more scarier.
It's like a comedy horror movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's like a kid's horror.
Who's the bald guy's name? It's like
David Koechner.
Oh, David Koechner, yeah. Koechner. He was really funny in that movie. Yeah, I guess you could consider it a horror comedy. I think the concept in the beginning when when shit starts going down, I thought that was really interesting. Like with like the snowman in the front lawn. I thought that was really cool. Overall, like I still enjoyed myself, but I was thinking like it was going to be a lot more gorier and violent, and there is some violent parts in it.
I really liked the Jack in the Box creature.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
The creatures were a nice touch. The gingerbread men demon things were funny. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie.
Nice. Cool. Where's that streaming again?
That's streaming on HBO Max.
Cool.
And then my second movie, I caught up with Jarhead with Jake Gyllenhaal and Jamie Foxx, directed by Sam Mendes. So this movie, I liked it. I do like it, and I get the messaging that they were trying to push. But I feel like it was made superficially enough for a wider audience rather than having it be like a deep dive in the psyche of a soldier who is in a war that doesn't really matter. They touched on it a little bit, and like especially with Jake Gyllenhaal's voiceover on certain, like I think he like does a voiceover every act or like every major like plot movement. It kind of holds your hand a little bit philosophically, but overall I thought this movie was really well shot. It kind of lulled a little bit towards the end. But I had a good time watching it. I think my favorite scene was in the beginning where they're at the basic training and they're firing live rounds over the people who are crawling through the mud. And the one guy can't take it anymore, and he gets up and he just gets freaking shot to all hell.
Ew.
And Jamie Foxx comes up to the dead private, and he's just like, I told you to keep your head down. If you'd have just listened to me, you would have been alive.
At the dead guy?
Yeah, at the dead guy.
Well, that's rude. And
I just remember when I was watching it, I was in shock. I was like, holy shit. And all of the soldiers who are like going through like the mud and stuff, they mirror what the audience is supposed to feel, because they're sitting there like everyone, like it's almost like time just stops. But Jamie Foxx, he's a complicated character who doesn't know anything other than a military life. And he kind of expresses that sort of attitude of only being about the military because he talks to Jake Gyllenhaal's character, who happens to be from Sacramento.
Oh, that's cool.
The character or Jake Gyllenhaal?
The character. The character. Jake Gyllenhaal is from Sacramento. Did you know? He was talking to him. He's like opening up like something about like his like brother-in-law or brother like bought him like a Dodge Charger, something like that. And he's like,
sounds about right.
But he's like, I don't care about that. Like, I'm just gonna do this until I die or something along those to the effect of that. And so when you hear that speech, that or not speech, but like when you hear him opening up, and then you hearken back to the training scene of that poor kid getting shot by a machine gun and him yelling at the dead body, like this is just his life. Like this isn't like nothing else outside, nothing in the civilian world matters to him. All he wants to do is just be in the military.
Sounds like what's his name from Hurt Locker?
Renner?
Yeah, Jeremy Renner. He just wants to go back. As soon as he gets home, he gets all jittery.
And then I think one of the most pivotal scenes in this movie is where Jake Gyllenhaal, his job is to be a sniper. And then I can't remember the actor who plays like the scout. The guy who has like the telescope next to him. They're going to take out a high profile target in some tower, and they're about to do it. Like the scene is tense. Like you can see like the trigger, or you can see the finger going on the trigger, and he's about to squeeze it, and then barges in like some colonel or something, and he's like, stand down, boys. We're just gonna blow this thing up with the artillery. And the guy who was the scout, he was like, no, well, if we're just going to, if you guys are just gonna blow it up, can we just have this one kill? Like we came all the way over here for this one kill. And he's like, nope, just watch the fireworks. And like he like has like a mental breakdown because the implication of like you do all this training, you're in the desert, like miserable as hell, and you have this one job that would make it all worth it taken away from you. And he just goes into a mental fit, and it's a really well acted scene. There's a lot of great scenes in this movie, but I think that it could have delved a little bit deeper into it psychologically about, training to go to war and then not experiencing the war. It's like, so like, what was it all for? But I mean, that's a little bit of a nitpick. So yeah, Jarhead, that is streaming on Netflix. Definitely check it out.
Cool.
And
that's all you got?
That's all I got.
Great. Awesome. Any of you guys have anything else you need to say?
Well, we all watched a movie.
I forgot. We got to fucking Dear Santa.
Yep. Dear Santa.
So you ended up, made time for it.
I did.
Nice.
So
I did.
Dear Santa is
Dear Santa.
a new movie streaming on Paramount Plus right now. It's got 24% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
5.4 on IMDb. Yes.
Okay.
Seems like it's not getting great reviews.
I'm surprised.
Joseph or Tyler, why don't you lead us off since you're already going?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
watched it this morning.
I watched it this morning. I messaged our group chat that we have for the show. Weren't we supposed to watch a Christmas movie?
Is that you imitating yourself?
Yeah. Hurt to do. But I remember, so I was sitting at my desk and I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Like it was getting close to getting ready for the show. I'm just like, oh my God, there's a Christmas movie. And then I'm like trying to rack my brain. I'm like, what movie was it? What movie was it? And then if
only you could go online.
And so I just like made an educated guess. I was like, I think it was Dear Santa because I remember something about Paramount Plus. And so I started Dear Santa, but then I started doubting myself. So I messaged and yeah, it was Dear Santa. I was like, oh, thank God. So anyways, I don't know why Dear Santa is getting bad reviews. I thought that was a really fun movie. It's a very interesting concept. I get the hate for it because the main character kid is just annoying as hell. I like the story enough to where I can look past like some of the glaring acting choices that were made.
Okay.
Jack Black, jollier than ever. I thought he was really fun. It was overall like really, it was an interesting spin on a Christmas movie that I haven't really seen in since what is that movie? What's that French movie?
Dial Code Santa.
Dial Code Santa. Like since Dial
Deadly
Code
Games.
Deadly Games. Yeah. Like it kind of it didn't remind me of it because it's obviously not the same story, but like it reminded me of like the uniqueness of taking like a Christmas story and
flipping it on its head.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Jack Black was great, and Post Malone was in it. I do like Post Malone a lot. So that was fun.
Okay.
And then Ben Stiller playing the devil was cool.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wish there was more of that.
Surprised it wasn't David Grohl.
I know.
David Grohl.
Well, he's kind of dealing with some controversies from his extramarital activities.
Mm-hmm.
The devil himself.
But I mean, I guess that would be fitting. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Give us a grade.
I would grade Dear Santa solid B. Yeah.
Wow.
Solid B. I can see myself watching this again, despite me having such a. Oh, and I love that it doesn't have a happy ending either. That was the cherry on top. It
doesn't it?
No, it does not.
I'm pretty sure it does.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Joseph, how about you?
I thought that this was a perfectly fine movie, and what I liked about it was the unique concept of taking a kid with dyslexia and making him write a letter to Santa, and then kicking off the whole like him writing a letter to Satan accidentally instead.
Yeah,
I like that. I like the concept of that. I think that's really kind of cute and clever.
Mm-hmm.
And making it sort of like a kids-ish movie, because this is a Farley brother movie.
Fairly Brothers, yeah.
Stuck on You and Me, Myself, and Irene and The Ringer, I believe.
Yep. Something About Mary.
So yeah, they have a very kind of inconsistent track record. The Ringer, I think, is underrated. And I think that Something About Mary is kind of a classic comedy.
Yeah.
And Stuck on You gets a lot of hate. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember enjoying it when I watched it years ago. And then Me, Myself, and Irene, I think, is really funny. But Dear Santa was my favorite part of the movie was the fact that the kid himself felt like a kid. Like he felt like a real kid.
Goofy ass little kid.
And like it wasn't like he didn't feel like I mean, this is a weird comparison, but like a Jacob Tremblay type of like trying to put on a performance type of kid. Like he felt like a dorky little kid.
Yeah.
He felt and looked like a dorky little kid. And I like that about the movie. Jack Black was doing his Jack Black thing, and I think he's kind of gotten a little too much into his shtick of being that, leaning into like the Tenacious D, like devil worshiping, I'm a Satanist type of thing, you know?
Yeah, I can see that
joke. There was a lot of the jokes didn't hit, but they weren't all terrible. But there were some funny ones. Like there was one specific one where I can't remember exactly the setup, but it was something about like touching kids, and Jack Black's just goes, "I'm not a trusting family relative."
Yeah.
The Post Malone bit was funny, and then like the I guess the conclusion to that part of the story was pretty hilarious. It's like Post Malone has no memory of
did a 2-hour performance
performing a concert, and then like the sort of reveal / twist about Jack Black's character, and the kid's naivete about like, you don't look like Santa.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about? And Jack Black has like a southern kind, almost like a Texas sort of demon accent.
Yeah, sure.
But overall, like me and Deanna watched it together, and it was a perfectly fine Christmas like comedy, borderline. It was like, I wouldn't say it is a kid's movie, but it's pretty close to like, it wasn't nearly as raunchy as it could have been. But there was definitely some raunch in it. and his best friend with the giant teeth,
Gibby.
was like comical.
Yeah.
Like comically oversized teeth. And I'm like,
Looked like the babysitter from Incredibles.
I know. I'm like, was that his real teeth? And then obviously it wasn't. They like,
as soon as I saw the kid with the big chomper on the top, I'm like, he's gonna grant a wish and he's gonna be a selfless. I thought it was gonna be his last wish.
Yeah. They ham-fisted the sort of sentimental storyline, like the parents and the whole like little brother storyline. Was it his little brother?
Yeah.
Little brother. That part of it was kind of like Hallmarky, like, you know, but and then for the end of it, which I don't know I'm curious as to why you think it's a sad ending or a tragic ending.
Well, he gets his little brother back. What the fuck?
It's a tragic. Well, I'll get into it afterwards.
Okay.
No, tell us now.
You want to know?
I want to know
Okay.
how is that's not a happy ending?
All right. So parents are in love. He gets his little brother back. Everything is all fine. However, the kid has a memory of his little brother dying. Right? Has like all these bad memories, but everyone around him is none the wiser. So he has to live with the trauma that he had to go through for his whole life.
Trauma and resolution, though.
I don't know.
It's just like having a bad dream, but it was really long.
Yeah, but this is reality that he's living in. And the reality,
but he got it back.
And also think about the implications of like dealing with a demon from hell when you're 11 years old, because that's how old he was. He's 11 years old. He understands that demons exist.
Now he can give his heart to Christ, is what you're saying. to get to heaven.
I just think that it was kind of fucked up, like to bring the little brother back, because like
how would you prefer it to be ending?
I would prefer it to just
gets a bunch of money.
Parents get divorced.
No, it just.
No, I get 2 Christmases.
It just sort of ends, you know. Like
Tyler doesn't like that he was hugging his mom.
You know how I feel about that.
No dice.
I don't know. Maybe
not on my watch.
Why do you view it from a cynical eye?
I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm cynical by nature.
His heart is full of hate.
Yeah, maybe
cynical, edgy eye.
But again, now that we're talking about it, it doesn't really hold water. Yeah, I guess it was a happy ending. It wasn't like Krampus where you're stuck into a goddamn snowball thing or a snow globe.
Sorry, I kind of
that's okay.
Bulldozed you there.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a fine, like, funny enough, kept me entertained Christmas movie. I don't think I would revisit it, like just having seen it already. Maybe if like somebody else wanted to watch it who hasn't seen it, I wouldn't watch it again necessarily. I would probably give it like a C. Comedy wasn't as consistent throughout as I hoped of, and some of the jokes were kind of stupid, like I'm gonna give this guy diarrhea.
I like that.
I mean, that was definitely more on the stupid side.
You give me a diarrhea joke, I'm in.
But the snooty teacher was a little much, I think.
PJ Byrne.
But like watching him dance on stage was funny.
I thought that was very adorable.
Yeah. But overall, it was fine. Perfectly fine.
I'm not a fan. I'm coming on the side of this is worse than it is good.
Oh.
Yeah. It's more.
So you're the cynic.
I am the cynic in this.
And you hate Christmas.
Absolutely. If this was about a Hanukkah movie, I would be into it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
oh, that's a Jew.
Thank you. I was waiting for it. I think Jack Black is one of the worst iterations of him in this. He's too, like you said, he's too much over the top. It's like, we get it. Okay, it's fine.
I'm Jack Black.
Yeah.
My name is Steve.
Yeah, his like it was weird because I felt like it had its feet in both sides of, the age range. It was like for little kids because he was making jokes like, poop muncher and stuff like that. Yeah. Every time he called the kid something, he would give him a nickname and be like, "Hey there, poop head" or something like that. Very juvenile sort of nickname. Yeah. And then there was a joke about child molestation in the next sentence. And you're like, what age is this supposed to be for? So it was almost, and then when I saw that it was the Farrelly brothers, back at it again. Because they split up and they were doing their own things for a while. Ricky Stenicki was Peter Farrelly. This is Bobby Farrelly. But Peter Farrelly was in he was like a producer and co-director or writer or something like this. So this is like their first one they've done since 2011 together.
Yeah, Bobby Farrelly.
And so it makes sense because it's like them trying to do a kids movie. You're going to expect a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not like clutching my pearls that it's like, oh, my child can't see this. I think it's all fair game, but it just kind of didn't know where it wanted to land.
Yeah,
it's just very strange. I could see the whole thing with Gibby and the teeth from a mile away. Fucking loved Gibby though. That character is so cute. He's such an adorable little kid.
Yeah.
I liked that the kid, like Joseph said, felt like adorable little chubby little boy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of wish he was a little bit more a better actor. Like he just it was distractingly bad.
Yeah.
His acting.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, Ben Stiller though was a highlight.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I wanted more of that interaction.
And his parents were just the worst. They suck. And I once you find out, the thing that I think that worked the best for me was that Lifetime Hallmark movie moment when you find out that, yeah, they do have a dead child. And
so it kind of makes sense that they're weird.
Yeah, then you kind of make sense that why they're fighting and all this stuff. But they're still not good. They're still poorly acted and their decision-making is bad. So I don't know. It's a really uneven movie, but I come down like it's worse than it is good. But I'm not going to tell anybody to not watch it.
Yeah.
It's a goofy kids comedy Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So anyways, all right, that's Dear Santa. Do any of you guys have a Christmas movie we should assign for next week for all three of us?
A Christmas movie we should all watch next week. New or old? Doesn't matter.
Because I have another one.
Doesn't matter if it's new or old?
Hopefully new.
Doesn't matter if it's new or old.
Hopefully new.
I mean, I
like preferably new?
Preferably new, yeah.
Like this year?
Christmas with the Cranks.
There's the...
I'm not watching that.
The Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie.
It's a movie one from 2021 called A Cluster Funk Christmas.
Oh, you said new.
It's newish.
I thought you meant new as in like Dear Santa's new.
I said hopefully. Well, you can watch whatever you want. I picked the last one.
I don't know.
You don't have anything?
It could be like anything.
Yeah, let's think about it. Let's put it out to maybe we'll put it out to the class.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That should be the classmates assignment.
Respond.
What Christmas movie should we watch, classmates?
So we better answer quickly.
I'll put it on Facebook. We'll do it for next week. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay, cool. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. And if you want to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass or just watch on the YouTube page and subscribe. That helps too. Until next time. Thank you for joining us today as we gab and chatter. We pay off some punishment movies. We talk about ghosts and Dear Santa. Yeah. Follow us later on in the week as we review Lars and the Real Girl. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class and leave us a voicemail, why don't you, at 209-283-1716.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC, on TikTok, Middle Class Film Class.
All right. Again, thanks for listening. Tell some friends and family, and let's get some more listeners. See ya.
See you next time.
See ya.
Weren't we supposed to watch a Christmas movie?
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.